Hey everybody, this is Entertainment Weekly's 2009 Best and Worst, and we're going to talk about, this one right here. Avatar. So, like many of you I'm sure, because many of you that come to this channel are movie fans, I went out today and saw Avatar. It's really the first time I've been to a movie on like opening day in a long time in America since I got back. I haven't really been to the movies that often. And this was one of the first big event movies, at least for me. So, in case you've been living under a rock, real quick, Avatar is the new movie from director James Cameron, where he's using primarily CGI, computer-generated imagery to tell the story of a distant planet and the inhabitants of that planet who are like 8 feet tall, an alien race. And the humans that go there to extract an ore from their planet that we need to survive back on Earth. So, here are my thoughts, and feel free to leave comments, etc. if you went and saw it today, or if you see it over the weekend, etc. Basically, well, first of all, I should preface this with saying that the reason that I was anticipating this movie very highly is that I'm a longtime James Cameron fan, back to, of course, the original Terminator in '82. I don't know that I went and saw that at the theater because I would have only been about 12 or so years old, and it was R-rated. But after that, I certainly saw everything else as it came out in the movies. Aliens, huge for me. The Abyss, love The Abyss. Of course, Terminator 2, and then, Titanic. And, the immediate comparison people are going to make is to Titanic. And, I mean, there's really no way that you're ever going to capture the zeitgeist of the moment that was Titanic. And the thing that this movie lacks, and as I get into my review you'll understand, is it definitely lacks that repeat viewing, I think, for most people. The fans of Titanic, especially female fans who went to see it over and over again for the love story and the crying and, Leo and everything, I don't think Avatar is going to have that. But I do think some people will see it more than once because there is a lot to see. Now, why, if you read the title, why did I go see the movie not in 3D? Because I certainly here in Southern California have plenty of theater options where I could have gone and seen it in 3D. Now, I've been in Japan most of this year and haven't seen any 3D movies. The local theater in Japan that I went to did have one 3D screen, but they didn't. I think there's a lot of movies that have come out in America this year that you could go see in 3D. Up, Monsters vs. Aliens, and the recent Christmas Carol movie, etc., etc. I haven't seen any movie in 3D. So for me, I didn't really want my first experience to be this movie in a weird way because it's supposed to like revolutionize the way you see 3D. So I won't really have a benchmark to judge it upon in that respect. So what I really wanted to judge it against was itself. So I went to see the regular standard version at my local theater today. I wanted to see if it held up as a movie before you judge the visual, game-changing way it uses CGI and everything. Because for me, it's got to stand up as a film, as a movie to enjoy on its own merits, story-wise, character-wise, etc., for me to really give it the 2 thumbs up. And this is where I think the movie fails. It is gorgeous to look at. There are shots that are amazing in it. I think primarily too, the movie, any movie like this is aimed primarily at 15 to 25-year-old males. Okay, that's your huge target going audience. And you've got to think about that group of men or boys have grown up their entire lives playing very complex video games. And this is what that movie is like. It's like a very complex video game brought to life. It better than it's ever been done. Don't get me wrong. The visual effects in this movie are spectacular. But for me, there's got to be more to it. I was watching another YouTube video just a few hours ago about, first fan reactions. And one of the commenters was like, well, the dialogue for me was a little bit corny. And one of the younger fans in his 20s came back with, this movie isn't about dialogue. It's about the visuals. It's about the effects and everything. And I guess, there's no better example of that mindset than Transformers 2 this past summer, which I thought was a completely terrible movie, but made gazillion dollars, because I guess that's really what people want nowadays. And I have to admit, I mean, this movie is way better than Transformers 2, don't get me wrong. You know, it's not just simple like, hey, look, we can do special effects like 2012. You know, it does attempt to tell a story, but the story it tells is completely familiar to anyone familiar with movies, and there's no part of it that you don't see coming. There's no surprises in it. The characters, you're supposed to just immediately care for the central character, I guess because he's in a wheelchair, because he lost his brother. They're given no time to develop. There's nobody in it like Sigourney Weaver from Aliens, or John Connor from the Terminator films, you know, or even Leo and Kate from Titanic, for us to root for. The movie basically, and this is what I'm going to hold up here, the movie is basically Dances with Wolves in outer space. Okay? For those of you who haven't ever seen this movie, it won the Academy Award a number of years ago, and it's an epic Western directed and starring Kevin Costner about a Civil War soldier who gets wounded and gets taken in by a group of Native Americans, Indians. And the parallels between Avatar and Dances with Wolves are just too easy to spot that I won't even go into them necessarily. But it's about a fish out of water, a man who thinks that he knows about these savages and this primitive culture who are in touch with nature and the spirits of the, you know, that bind us all together. And he, of course, you know, gets involved with their community and falls in love with a woman of their tribe, and eventually, you know, comes to support them and rally around them and reject his own people. So I don't want to go too much into spoilers here, and if you've watched this video up to this point, I appreciate it. But basically, I wasn't disappointed, but it certainly didn't blow me away. The odd thing is I think I'm going to go see it one more time. Here in my theater, I went to a matinee. I went at 1 o'clock. It cost me $8.50 to go to a regular showing at 1 o'clock today on a Friday. I think I will pay. It would have been $12 to go see the 3D version. I think I will pay and go see it in 3D. I want to see what kind of difference it makes. But like I said, I wanted to have the basis of the movie, and did it move me and involve me, etc., as its own story, etc., before I put on the glasses and have that experience, because I know that's going to be whiz bang pow impressive. I'm sure. I mean, you can just watch the movie and see some of it and know that it's, you know, with those glasses on, with the added effects, it would be amazing. But the end of the movie, without really giving anything away, the last, say, 45 minutes, and it's a long movie. It's about 2 hours and 40 minutes. So the last about, you know, fifth of the movie is just one extended huge fight sequence. And it's well done, but at no point do you ever wonder who's going to win or how it's going to come out. They're just, I really felt let down in some respects, but in other ways, I feel like it is a step forward. And in the same way that Phantom Menace and The Matrix, that came out together in 1999, changed the way visual effects, etc., were done, I'm sure this movie will have a lasting impact. And I think it will make a lot of money. Although, like I said, I don't think it's going to have the repeat business that Titanic did. I don't think it's going to, you know, just seeing the Iron Man 2 trailer this weekend, I'm way looking more forward to that movie. And I think that'll be a huge, more big box office success than this film. But certainly this weekend, people are just going to go see it because it's going to be talked about. But yeah, I guess out of 5 stars, I would give it 3.5. So I enjoyed it. I felt I got my money's worth. It was involving, but it certainly wasn't something that it just blew me away, unfortunately. So see what you think. Feel free to leave me a comment and tell me what you thought. And I'll maybe update this really quickly when I see it in 3D, which will probably be maybe later in the month or early January. Okay? Thanks for watching. Bye.